Hi, this is Mark at WebChartMD. For the next couple of minutes, I have the fun of showing you some new user permission settings that we've added to the system. These new permissions are going to be available in the settings area of your online account as of 1 o'clock tomorrow, Thursday, January 5th. Let's take a quick look at the new settings and permissions. Okay, I'm now in the settings area of my online account, and under account settings, I've clicked on the user's icon in the folder pane to the left. And here are my staff. Now you'll notice we've added a roles column so that you can see at a glance the role that's been assigned to each of your different staff members. And let's come over now into the form to take a look at the user details, roles, and permissions. First thing I'd like to point out is that under roles, we've added a new user type called staff. And there are a couple of specific reasons for that I'm going to explain. But that includes now the ability to set specific unique roles, or enables you to set specific and unique roles for staff so that they only do certain things when they're in the administrative area of your account. So you'll notice that I've got 3 roles: manager, staff, and transcriptionist. And as I add or remove certain role types, my roles column updates to reflect that. Let's look at each of the roles. In the manager role, if I click that, you'll notice that certain permissions showing in my folder pane here to the right are grayed out by default. Other ones that I'm able to click are elective permissions that I can add or remove from users, but there's a core group of permissions that are pre-selected. That's because the manager really functions as kind of a super user in your account. And by default, the manager is somebody who can come in to do virtually all of the administrative tasks within your account. If I want someone not to be able to do that, but rather to do things selectively, I can make them a staff person. And when I do, you'll notice, and again, these were optional roles that had been pre-selected, but typically by default, if you add somebody, a new user to your system, and make them a staff person, no permissions will be checked prior to you doing so that you can go in and customize exactly what you want that user to be able to do. Now, the obvious benefit of this is you may have staff people that you want to do only selected administrative functions for you. For example, I want my staff person, when they log in, to only manage templates or to only create pools for me, whatever the case might be. And if I only have edit pools created, then when this person logs in this case, Jerry Miles, Jerry will only see the pool settings in the pool manager and none of the other things that show up in my folder pane to the left here under my account settings. Okay, the last role that I want to mention is the transcriptionist. And you'll notice that when I click transcriptionist, an additional permission comes into view that's really only applicable to the transcriptionists, and that is view only their documents. And so we've added this new feature where if you don't want your transcriptionists, when they log into the portal, to see any other documents besides the ones that they have typed, you're now able to set that level of permission. And what you'd set is view client folders, which gives the transcriptionist access to the client folders, and then view only their documents, which gives them access then and visibility only to the documents they've transcribed. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the roles. Now I want to mention that all of your existing roles for all of your team members remain untouched or undisturbed. And since previously the only role we had other than transcriptionist was manager, all of your team members that are currently in your system, if they're not transcriptionists, will be managers. And so you're able to go in now and click on a manager. For example, here's Sally Jones. She's in there as a manager. And so previously, Sally was able to do everything. Well, I really wanted her only to do certain things. So I'm going to make her a staff person instead, and I'm going to just allow her to see the workflow manager, edit templates for me, and build pools out for me, but not do anything else. So by making Sally a staff person instead of a manager, I'm able to go in, and I'll hit the save button to save those changes. I'm able to go in now and customize the view for each of my office staff. Okay, now that concludes the discussion on roles. Let's take a quick look at permissions. Let me just quickly run through these so that you understand what each of the permission areas are and what they do. You'll notice first that we've broken the permissions out into more logical functional groups called access, actions, administrative, and QA. Under access, my permissions are view the client folders, which we discussed, open documents. If that's not checked, then the user will not be able to double click a row inside of the folders view to open a document. And then view line reports. Now, if the user is a manager or staff, it'll give them access to all the management reports that are in the report section. If it's a transcriptionist, clicking this box will give them permission to only see their line reports. Under actions, edit documents makes sense. That's self-explanatory. Reject is a transcriptionist permission. This allows the transcriptionist to send a file that she's working on into the reject folder for review by ops. Print is self-explanatory. Route dictations means that the user can go into the folders view and go into the workflow manager or the My Documents inbox and access the routing feature to route work to themselves or others. Delete is self-explanatory. Fax means that they can use the fax wizard from the toolbar in the folders view. Under administrative, quickly, the workflow manager gives them access to that particular new tool. Edit users means they can come into this user area under account settings to add or modify or delete users. Edit master roles means that the user has access to the master roles that get created whenever you add a new account through the accounts section. Edit templates is self-explanatory. That's access to the template manager. Edit address book is a transcriptionist related permission primarily. It allows the user to make modifications or add new entries to the address book. Edit accounts gives them access to this accounts icon in the top left corner. Edit care providers means that the user can go into the care providers section that you see over to the left in the folder pane to modify settings for care providers such as the routing assignments. Edit line settings means they can go into the line settings area to modify the line count definition for dictators or accounts. Edit pools is self-explanatory. That's giving access to the pool manager in the bottom left corner. The next area, the next kind of functional area under permissions is QA. And QA means simply that they're able to do QA work. View all QA'd items means they're able to see everything in the QA folder. Unchecking that means they'll only see those items you've assigned to them. Submit Direct does just that. It allows the transcriptionist to have his or her work submitted directly. And if I uncheck that box, my routing options open up. So for this particular MT, Frank Tomlinson, I want all of his work to go into the QA1 pool, 100% of it. I can back that off to a setting of my choice, say 15%, in which case the system will randomly pull 15% of Frank's completed documents and route them to QA for auditing purposes. Okay, that's a brief description of the new roles and permissions that we've added to the system. We've got 2 training sessions scheduled to help familiarize you with the new roles and permissions. They'll be held this Friday, January 6th, the first session at 10 a.m. Eastern, and the second session at 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you very much.